As we mentioned at the start of the show, David Cameron back, grabbing all the headlines in Britain over the weekend as part of his long-awaited book. And of course, as a man who gave us Brexit, he's laid into Boris in a big way over the weekend. Boris, for his part, doubling down. He will not be seeking an extension, despite what the law may say, seemingly forcing him to do so. BBC producer Stuart Hughes is with us. Stuart, good morning.
Morning, Mike.
So this business of no extension, and I'm not asking for an extension, is this designed to put the ball in Europe's court and they got to bend and come up with something?
Yeah, it's going to be another crucial week for Boris Johnson and his attempts to get a deal over the line before the 31st of October. He's travelling to Luxembourg tomorrow, UK time, to meet the European Union President Jean-Claude Juncker and the EU's chief Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier, to discuss his proposal to replace the backstop mechanism, that sticking point that governs the Irish border after Brexit. Mr. Johnson says he's still hopeful a new deal with the EU can be reached in time before a crucial EU summit on the 17th of October. He's been giving an interview over the weekend to one of the newspapers in which he says a deal will take a lot of work, but I think we will get there. He says there are real signs of movement in Berlin, Paris and Dublin. The Brexit Secretary, Stephen Barclay, who will be also travelling to Luxembourg tomorrow, has said that a landing zone, as he calls it, is in sight following extensive talk, and he's very confident of a deal. But Downing Street is cautioning Monday's meetings won't be a big breakthrough. And as you say, Mr. Johnson is saying that if negotiations do break down, he's going to ignore a House of Commons vote ordering him to delay the UK's departure beyond the 31st October, although some in the legal profession are questioning whether that's possible and legal.
What about David Cameron? Is this a guy who's got a point or a sad sack who's written a book?
It's a man with a book to sell, and he's emerged from his shepherd's hut in rural Oxfordshire, where he's been holed up since stepping down as Prime Minister just after the Brexit referendum in 2016. And he spent the weekend trying to perhaps rescue his reputation and also settle a few scores in the process. As you say, his book's about to be published. I think that's the main reason he's popped his head above the parapet after 3 years of relative silence. He says he's truly sorry for the uncertainty and division that's followed the referendum, and he thinks about it every single day. That's the reputation management, if you like. And then on the score settling side, laying into Boris Johnson and Michael Gove, he says Boris Johnson didn't believe in Brexit during the referendum campaign and only backed leave because it would help his political career. And turn his attention to Michael Gove, he describes him as a foam-flecked Farageist, a reference, of course, to the arch-Brexiteer Nigel Farage. Mr. Cameron will be giving his first broadcast interview on television tomorrow evening. Expect that bloodletting to continue. Of course, this is all good pre-publicity for a man who's going to have a book to sell, and that'll be on the shelves later this week.